We're going to run that back for you just one more time for those of you who missed it. Just give you a taste, just a little bit, of the soon to be released song, The Devil's Burn. I love this song, man. I really do. I love this song. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're just going live now on YouTube. Give the YouTubers a taste. The Devil's Burn.
This is one of those rides that goes until the wheels fall off. Certainly not for the faint of heart. For those who believe that turning the other cheek will be a deterrent for the predators who wreak havoc upon God's creations, blaming the victims for their being victimized. Hoping they'll continue standing on their weak principles, powering when they return to violate them again and again and again and again. When you're living in the mouth of madness, there's always something coming your way. Whether it's chew, kiss, strip, or strewn, grip, flip, tsunami, or monsoon, it's inevitable in the course of a day. After a while, it all tastes the same. Staying in your lane is the name of this game. Never look back, it'll drive you insane.
Yeah.
A nightmare for sure, chaos a theory. I just want to scream, but no one can hear me. Ooh, be healed, the devil's burn. Ooh, be healed, the devil's burn. In this life, you don't get what you earn. Treat it like a doorknob, everybody gets a turn. Ooh, be healed, the devil's burn. Ooh, be healed, the devil's burn.
So for those of you just tuning in, I was just giving you a taste, just a little taste of the soon to be released song, The Devil's Burn. I love it. 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 The vibe is just, man, you just kind of sit there and just roll with it. It's like a ride. It's like a roller coaster ride, man. And that's what life is. Life is a roller coaster. It has its ups and downs. It has times when things accelerate so fast. Like the weeks since I've been retired have just like been rapidly gone by. I wake up Monday and before you know it, it's Friday. It just didn't work out that way when I was at work. At work, man, it feels like a 12-hour day. Sometimes it was, but it just, I don't know what day it is. What is today? Trash day? Is it Thursday? Is it Saturday? And then don't let the kids be home from school on some kind of vacation. That really throws me off. But we got a great show today. Great show today. Men. Why is respect so important to men? Why is it seemingly unimportant to so many women? What is the difficulty in understanding that all we want is to be respected? And the comeback is always a matter of, well, y'all don't deserve it. Ain't no good men out there, this, that, and the other. But you need to look at yourself. You're making those selections. You're the one getting people out of detox, off the gurney, off the street corner, clocking, hustling, because that's what you're attracted to. Why you keep blaming all men? Any man for a decision that you make. You made the decision. You picked the dude. But why did you pick him? Think about it. Why did you pick him? What was it about him that made you decide that this is the one for me? Think about it. How did you come to that conclusion? Right? Did you see his bank account? Did you see his morals, his ethics? Did you ask him those questions? There's things you want to know, but you rather act like, Inspector Gadget or somebody and creep around, look in the phones, tag the car, like all kind of psychopathic stuff, and you don't see where you are the problem when you have to go through all of that just to see if the person is valid. Then there's a beginning point for you, because it doesn't just stop there. It's not going to stop there. Crazy as hell, trying to say it's him, trying to say it's us, right? We know what we want. We keep getting this same message that keeps being circulated around, that men don't know what they want, that men are just hound dogs, that that's all we want is sex. And when you look at the statistics, when you look at the numbers, it's a whole different picture. It's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. Don't listen to me. Read. Look at how many women versus how many men are committing acts of infidelity, and I'm talking about sexually, emotionally, and spiritually. Look at the statistics on what it's saying about who is committing most of the acts of infidelity. But look at the why too, because this is not just a matter of men versus women. It's a matter of this whole myth that men are not loving and caring, that men are not nurturing, that men are not hurting inside. I posted a whole bunch of reposted a whole bunch of posts that yesterday that I was seeing regarding men and men hurting. You have a lot. Listen, there was a mixture. There were rappers, there were professionals, and everything in between. There were religious leaders. Everybody and all these people in there, they were men. Men are hurting. Meanwhile, you have so many women that just sit by and say, "Oh, well, nah, he ain't." But then you wind up with some old trick. That's what you wind up with. You wind up with some trick, who that's all you want from him is for him to buy it and do this and do that. Don't exert any kind of leadership, because you see leadership as being authority, of having power and control over you. Therefore, you don't yield to that. Therefore, you continue to have the same jokers in your life because you don't want to submit. And these jokers who want to play games are the ones you wind up picking up. That's what you attract. They met you through games. They met you through games. Plain and simple. People keep talking about, yeah, well, the club, we was at the club. Okay, you at the club. I need to see you in another venue. The club is nothing but a meat market. That's all it is. That's all it is. So when people say, well, I'm just going out, to have fun with the girls and, dance a little bit, so on and so forth. Okay, well, you need to look at what happens at the club. Why can't you go to a restaurant? There's plenty of restaurants that serve alcohol that have nice environments where you can actually get a chance to see somebody who's out dining them by themselves. You see them in a different light other than the club. After, a few drinks, the hunt is on. There's already a plan. There's already an agenda going to the club. I'm not just going to the club to shake my groove thing. I'm going there to dance, and I'm going there to play the game. Period. And anybody that says different, you're falling for your own Jedi mind trick, because that's the venue. The venue is not just dancing; it's dancing, drinking, and everything that comes along with that. Right? Gyrating hips, bumping and grinding, dropping it like it's hot. All that is part of the club environment. And then you catch somebody's eye, and then you connect, and you hook up, and you do the do, and then it's on and popping, and sometimes flopping. Yeah, because nah, no, you won't get a call back from me. But at the end of the day, you have to look at you and your selections. I can tell you, I was no good early on. It wasn't to the age of 34 where I made the decision that I needed to do something different with my life. Plain and simple. But here's the thing. It's part of maturing when you realize that you're in a place that you don't need to be, and that it's going to be more destructive for you to remain and to hurt somebody else. Right? Maturity is not about hurting people. That's immaturity. Maturity is about finding a balance. Listen, it's not going to work. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to argue back and forth with you because of a condition that you choose to remain in. That's your fight. That's your battle. That's not mine. That's not mine. And oftentimes, men get latched on to women who we see the need for healing. Right? Because we are task oriented. Men are task oriented. We're fixers. We're conditioned to do. And because we're conditioned to do, because we're tasked with the responsibility of tilling the soil, outside and inside. You understand what I'm saying? We're task driven. Therefore, when you don't allow us to follow through on our task, and you hinder that, it's not good. Because then we don't feel value. We don't feel any level of value because you don't respect us. You don't respect what it is that we have to say. You just brush it off because your only agenda is you. The only agenda you have is what you want. The only agenda you have is what your needs are. The only agenda that you have is I want a husband. I want somebody who's going to wine and dine me. I want somebody who, and that's the problem. You keep wanting somebody instead of wanting to be somebody's. And there's work involved. There's work involved. You want to be a wife? You have to say you want to be a wife and stop saying you want a husband. You want to have a better partner in your life? You have to be a better partner. Plain and simple. As long as you continue to walk around and beat up on us men for what you are failing to do in your own life, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. I spent many years getting beat up on. Yeah. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Been married 4 times. None of them were short term. My first one, I got married at the age of 24. I was a kid. I was still in the street. I was an adult predicated on the number. There was nothing mature about my condition. There was nothing mature about my mindset. I was trying. I believed. I believed then, and I believe now in marriage. There's so much taken off of you when you have that one person for life. And I made every effort along the way. That first one was till 34. Then the next one went until it went for about 16 years. But in the 16-year period of time, 5 of those years were with a second wife, a co-wife, right? Because 11 years in that toxic relationship, I separated, but because, and this is what has to be understood about being a man and doing things the right way. Because I didn't want to see somebody else hurt, because I didn't want to see somebody else in a position of having to struggle because of a decision I made. Listen, whether they influenced the decision or not is irrelevant. You don't just leave people hanging. You don't just leave people hanging. It's over. It, whether it's amicably agreed or not, it doesn't matter. When you make a decision to move on, you do the best you can to ensure that that person is not just left hanging. Period. The problem is when you're doing that and you move on because you're not in that relationship in that capacity anymore, and you just move on. No matter it's no length of time that. Listen, it took time for it to fail. It took time for it to fail. It was failing all the while. So there's no like, oh well, you should at least wait 30 days and until y'all over. You should give yourself at least 6 months, give yourself a break and none of that. No, no, I was miserable the whole time. I was doing all the wrong things to myself, to include acts of infidelity, because I just didn't walk away. So when I went on, and I took on a co-wife, right? That was 5 years. So you're looking at 16 years total with one, right? 5 years with another, and then a period of time with another. That was very short, simply because of them not being in alignment with my role as a leader. Never been a controlling person. Always found myself in situations, right, where they were controlling. And a lot of times that happens to the good guys. See, the good guys, we're accommodating. We're not passive in any capacity. We're accommodating. We're patient. We take a lot of stuff on the chin because we want to be with you. We want you to be in our life. We want to be a part of your life. And all of them failed because we didn't want the same thing. We didn't want the same thing. We really weren't going in the same direction. Any relationship that you're in with another person is always about personal growth and development first and foremost. You can't work on me and you at the same time, and vice versa. I can't deal with your stuff and my stuff at the same time. But you become consumed with their stuff, and that's how you get lost, and that's how I got lost in so many of those situations because of lack of respect and keep being told, no, I respect you. See, there's not a clarity on what respect looks like from a man's perspective, because a lot of times the women are not listening to what we're trying to tell them, to what we're actually showing them. They're not looking at the signs. When you start looking at your relationships and why it keeps being the way it is and why there's so much splintering and why there's so much conflict and confrontation, you have to start, because listen to what I'm saying to you, because you have to start paying attention to this. You have to start grooming your girls differently. This grooming mindset of you don't need a man, but in the same breath, just pray and ask God to send you one. You can't be a believer in God, have faith in God, but tell somebody you don't need no man. What are you reading? And this is part of the confusion that we continue to encounter as men, because you had a failed relationship, because you had some raggedy, ratchet behind relationship that you chose. And it just seems to be easier for you to point the fingers instead of looking at you made that choice. How did you make that choice? Oh, I thought, well, he was just such a good actor. Well, he was real. No, come on with all of that. Come on with all of that. Come on. It's time to stop that. You're destroying men. You're destroying healthy males because you keep telling us how effed up we are as black men. Any man. I can only speak from what we're told as a black man. But all men are being destroyed in that capacity. Well, let me tell you, not all. Many men are being destroyed in that capacity. But before we even get to manhood, we getting this bad information in boyhood. Oh, wow, every time I get on live, my eyes start working like this. You understand what I'm saying to you? You're giving your sons bad information. Men and women. You're giving teens bad information. You keep using all the bad examples to define us as men. But many of you profess religion. Have the examples. Have the examples. You're not teaching your sons to follow those examples. You're not teaching your daughters to follow those examples. Those are the examples. When you profess a particular religion, those are the examples. But you're not following them. That's how twisted up this world is. See, we've gotten so far from not just being in alignment with God, but even reading the book the right way. Well, now you're reading the books the right way, professing all of this and all this, and dressing up this way and dressing up that way, bearing symbols of this, that, and the other, and you're just as crazy as the atheists. For real. And I'm not saying atheists are crazy, but that's the interpretation. How do you believe that there's no God? Well, the question becomes then, how do you believe that there is with your conduct? You just need to think about that. Because at the end of the day, you make the choice to do or not to do. It's a terrible thing when you have a man and a woman, a boy and a girl, a male and a female, get together and make a child. And then one parent spends an insurmountable amount of time bashing the other parent. Now you've given your child an interpretation that belongs to you. Now that child is destroyed because of you, because of decisions you made. You didn't tell the truth because you needed to validate your continued existence because you're the primary caretaker now. So you got to make sure you look good to that child. It wasn't my fault. It was him. He was this and he was that. And the child, even those who come to an adult age, they don't question. They seldom question. Well, what happened? And then they seldom believe it even after you tell them. Why? Why couldn't you tell the child the truth? Why didn't you just tell the child the truth? I don't have any issue with the fact that I was in this particular condition at the time. I've matured. I've changed because all these things are possible. You too will have that experience when you have your own child. And then when you come upon that experience, you still don't have an aha moment. Yeah, it was right. Because in your mind, you've already been conditioned to believe that the man is no good. Because I had a no good man. You're going to have a no good man too. And that's the mantra that continues to go on today. And many women still are not looking at themselves. I can't do the ratchetness. I can't do the old head stuff, and I can't do it. I can't. I can't do it. Listen to what I'm saying to you. I can't do it. Most men can't do it. It's too many others out there. It's too much free sex out there. Unattached sex out there for me to sit and have some woman in my life who's going to be doing all of this, who's going to be disrespectful, who's going to want to do as she damn well pleases, because that's how so many women have been groomed. I don't care whether you agree or disagree. Take a look at yourself. Take a look at the people that you have selected. Take a look at how each man you treat. Take a look at how you treat men. Take a look at the lack of respect. Have you sat down and actually asked what respect looks like to him? No, you rather keep saying, I respect you. I'm not disrespecting you. If I just told you that you were disrespectful, that what you just did was disrespectful, you need to close your mouth, open your mind, and learn. I mean, that's if you want this relationship. For real. But then the mindset is, well, Negro, I don't need you. I go find me another one. Well, go ahead and find another one. You could have did that in the beginning. Because you knew I wasn't about that, but you wanted to try. You thought you were going to whip me into submission. You thought you was going to put that thing on me and change my mind, rock my world, make me stupid. That's what you thought, because that's your value. That's your value. That's how you value yourself. Plain and simple. That's the value you have of yourself. I was just telling my soon-to-be wife that I never, we were watching the divorce court or something like that, and the judge was telling dude, how arrogant he was, how controlling he was, this, that, and the other, because all the revelations of whatever it is they were seeking to find out were not true of what he had determined his wife to be. And well, hell, he was definitely narcissistic, right? But I forgot what I was going with this. But it's a matter of you really have to take a look at. There are people who are as such. But as a people, how many times have we been lumped into the same batch as the do no gooders? And we suffer for what the do no gooders do. How do we feel about that? How do you think whites feel when you lump them into the did no gooders group? To the slave masters. Oh, your relatives were slave masters. Newsflash, yours were too. But how do you think they feel when you keep lumping them into the racist category? When everything they do, you want to throw the race card in. How do you think they feel about it? How do you think men feel when you treat us like, we're the other dude who did all this harmful stuff to you? We're not him. We're not him. And we're not going to accept your shenanigans, your nonsense, your rationalizations and justification of your bad behavior because you haven't sought to heal yourself. And you think that we should come along and heal you with our bank accounts, with our gifts, with our patience, with our adoration for you. You think we should heal that. That's not our responsibility. It is not. And I'm tired of hearing people talking about how they have these healing spirits and their job is to heal somebody. My damn job is not to heal you. That's your job. And your healing comes as a result of you allowing me to lead. I can guide you in that direction. I can show you that this is what you said you wanted. And this is how you keep it. You already know how to lose me. You already know how to lose a man. Do you know how to keep him? And I'm not just talking about any man. But when you get a good one, do you know how to keep him? Now you too busy using this measuring stick that's not even valid for men like me. You don't even have the qualifications to measure men like me. Not with that kind of attitude, you don't. Not with that kind of attitude, you don't. But there were some who wanted to immature me. Those are ones that I married because they believed that they could change me. They believed that, oh, well, you had so much potential and, you know, you're this, you're that, and you're so smart, yada, 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 da, 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 and then, you know, pop, pop, fizz, fizz. Oh, that's where I was going earlier, too. So I was telling my soon-to-be wife how, like, I never saw myself as being this fine dude, you know. I never saw myself in that capacity. I never had the mindset of myself that, you know, like, you know, yeah, I get dressed up and I know it looks nice and what it is to have on, but I never sat and looked in the mirror ever with any level of vanity about myself. Never have. You know, I was always just smart. Smart. I'm the guy you can have a wonderful conversation with. Yeah. And then the thug dude is the one that you let in your door to come and you sleep with him. That's the one. I mean I've experienced that. Like here I am. I'm carrying your books home from school. I'm having this great, wonderful conversation with you. We're sitting on a step, and the little thug, you know, from the hood, right, who been pushing up on you and pushing in you, right? He rolls up, right, and you go in the crib with him. I'm waiting for you to offer it to me, right? He done pushed up on you. He being aggressive because that's what he wants. I'm trying to get into your head. I'm trying to have conversation with you. See, that's the kind of dude I always was. So I never, you know, stood in the mirror like, damn, boy, shit. You know, what's up, girl? No, I couldn't practice that kind of stuff because I wasn't a dude. I was always shy. I was always a thin-built person. So I didn't have that level of confidence. So for me, it was always I was a smart dude. Even the ruthless dude I was with, dudes I was hanging with, you know, it was always about, you know, my intellect. It was, you know, he a cool dude. He all right. He's all right, right? I could help in other areas other than go rob the liquor store. I can review this application with you. I can do this with you. I can do that with you. We can talk about this. We can talk about that. Yeah, that's what's up, man. I had a world view that was different than most people in my circle. That's why my circle shrank. But I always hurt, man. And moving through, you know, these failed marriages, failed relationships throughout the years, you know, has really taken a toll. But it's a matter of not giving up because you know what you are deserving of. You know that whatever happened, whatever transpired within those relationships, you knew you did your best, and that's what's of the most importance. But men are tired of going through this. We're tired of going through this. We're tired of this old myths that keep circulating around about us and how we don't do this and we don't do that. We listen. I can guarantee you that men cry more than most women because of the pain and the suffering. Because we just want the good one. We just want the one who's going to respect us. That's all. So there's an article um, that I found, and you know, it's you really have to dig deep for psychological based uh, articles on men and respect, right? Because it seems to be nothing of importance. It's not important that we're respected. There's more articles on love than anything else. But for men, respect is love. I'm a guy I'm multi-talented. I stay in the midst of things. I stay doing things because I'm not just trying to sit around and just go grow old and decrepit. Right? That doesn't make sense to me. It's too many other things that I can be doing until my time comes. I have work to do while I'm on this earth. While this is another day above ground, there's things to be done. Sitting around and just wasting time and wasting away, it doesn't make sense to me. So a woman in my life has to understand that. You don't have to accept it, but you have to understand that. You have to understand that without you, I do this. With you, I do this. And I have to understand the same for her. I have to understand the same for her. But this is not about women today. This is about the needs of men. Right? So this article, 17 powerful ways to show respect to your husband and why it matters. And why it matters. Why it matters. Ask yourself, how many times have you been married? Ask yourself, how old are you and how many relationships you've been in? How many of those relationships fail? Why did those relationships fail? Why do those relationships fail? Why is your current relationship failing? Ask yourself that. While you sit back and talk about the fact that I've been married 4 times and about to get married a 5th time. I've been in six serious relationships out of 6. Yeah. You do the math and ask yourself how much time you have invested in making the effort to commit. You being in a relationship with somebody for 5, 6 years with no intention on marrying, that's not it. You don't even qualify to have that conversation about marriage. You don't have any attention on doing so because you're too selfish to do so. And some of you need to accept the fact that you are just damn selfish. Stop talking about the fact that nobody's worthy, but you sleeping with them. Stop talking about the fact that there are no good men out there, but you sleeping with one. Stop talking all that crap. What effort are you putting into? What are you doing to make this happen? To make yourself desirable? Well, let's start here with how you show respect. It says here to your husband, but how you show respect to a man that you're in a relationship with and why it matters so much to him. Why is the first thing when we get upset, the first thing we say is, you ain't got no respect. You don't respect me. You don't respect me. I had that conversation often, and I would always be told, I do respect you. And they were saying it with all sincerity. But how can you be respecting me when you're not being truthful? How are you respecting me when I've laid out an open door for you to walk through, to tell me anything, to be honest, to be upfront? I've given you that. And you continue to conceal things and let me find out and then rationalize and justify and hope for my accommodating side, my forgiving side, my caretaking side, my nurturing side, my enabler side to take precedence over what you have done again to me. It only diminishes more and more the respect that I have for you. And I won't become disrespectful, but there's no trust there. Why are you lying to me? What for? What reason? If you want to be with somebody, why are you being with them and lying to them? Why are you not being forthright with stuff, forthcoming with stuff? Why do you sit back and do things behind their back, and then when they find out, you want to justify, rationalize your behavior, and then make them the bad guy? Literally, I deserve that. I deserve for you to be sitting here talking to me with your head and all that. I deserve that. I deserve you talking to me like I'm some Negro out on the street, like your enemy. I deserve that. Now that is a lack of respect. You talk to me, you sit down and you talk to me like a woman. You sit down and you talk to me respectfully. All that rah-rah stuff, I'm not doing none of that. And it's too much of that goes on. I'm not doing anything. I'm not that guy. Because when you talk to me that way, right, that shows a total disregard for my manhood. It shows a total disregard for my manhood. And it shows a lack of understanding of that which you profess to be your foundation of living. You don't have a foundation of living other than that which resides within the confines of your mind. That's your foundation of living. You're not living on faith. You're not living on the greatness and the giftedness of the day, because that's what you have. It's too much energy being wasted. So the article is on the Not Alone website. It is a coaching site that appears to be. They have stuff here on parenting, baby names, adoption, pregnancy, mental health, all kinds of things on mental health, healing, addictions, career and money, education, a lot of stuff on relationships, ghosting. I'll be back to this website again. You should go there too. The Not Alone website. Yeah. Personal growth. So, that's the twist for daddies right here. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about facilitating change. I don't change anybody's life. You listen, you take the information and say, hey, that might work for me. That's all I am. I'm just a facilitator. I don't have the power to change anybody's life. Hell, I struggle with changing my own damn life. How the hell am I going to change yours? But so it's the Not Alone website. The article is by Olivia Sanders. It was October 23rd that this article came out. I don't know if if it just says October 23. So I don't know if that's 2023 or whether it was October 23rd of 2024. I don't know. Right? But it's by Olivia Sanders. So let's go over the article. 17 powerful ways to show respect to your husband and why it matters. Key takeaways from this article. Point 1, respect strengthens emotional connection. Point 2, attention shows you value him. Point 3, encouragement fuels his confidence. Point 4, kindness fosters deeper intimacy. And point 5, gratitude enhances mutual respect. So, what does respect mean to a man? Respect to a man often means feeling valued, appreciated, and understood. It's three parts there. It's three parts there. Valued, yeah. Appreciated, and understood. It's more than just words. It's about how we act and respond to his needs, his emotions, and his thoughts. Respect shows him that he matters in your life, and it acknowledges his role as a partner, not as a bank account, not as a stiff one, not as a do me baby. You understand what I'm saying? Those kind of things. We're not that's not, we're partners. And in partners we do things together. We have conversations about things, especially things that may impact us both. That may impact us both. I represent you. You represent me. The Quran says that we are to treat our wives like fine garments. You wouldn't take chiffon silk and throw it in the washer. But the wife has the responsibility too of wearing me as her garment, a fine garment. That we represent one another when we are out and about. And we make sure that others see the representation of one another. That our conduct towards one another is appropriate. Even in times of disagreement. Even in times of disagreement. So if you've been conditioned to stand up for yourself, and your husband, your man says something to you in public that you think shed some light on your submissiveness, and you don't want to appear that way to everybody else, you're going to react to him in a defensive way because you don't want nobody to know that you have submitted to your husband, that you have submitted to your man. It's also a matter of feeling valued. I like to know that you think that I have a voice in things, that I have a perspective of things, and listen to what those perspectives are. I was a chef for 10 years. I've been a clinician for 30 years. Substance abuse, mental illness. I have some skills, some tools in my box that I use to facilitate change. Right? Yes, and I've often been told, well, Sabir, when you go through things, you go to God. You go to God. You get it done. You make it happen. That doesn't mean I don't hurt along the way. It doesn't mean that I don't need to talk to you and to bounce some things off of you and to let you know about my feelings. It doesn't mean that because I'm the king of the jungle, because I do wear a crown, folks. It doesn't mean because I wear the crown that I have all the answers, because I don't. I don't always make the right decisions. I don't always make the best decisions. That's what I have you for, to help me in making that decision. I ultimately have the final say of whatever that decision is, but I need you. I need you to also do the same, that when you got things going on, that you ain't calling your mama, that you ain't calling your daddy, that you ain't calling grandma, that you ain't calling your girlfriend to get answers when I'm supposed to be that person. That's where you show me the value. When you go to everybody outside of me, you devalue me as a man, as a leader, as the king. Because your perception of me is that, well, he has the answers. He already knows, and he takes care of himself. He doesn't need me, because that's your thinking. I didn't show you that. That's your perception of me, because I do that, because that's what you should be doing. When it goes left, you should go right to God. That's why we're in a relationship, because I believe that your foundation of living is with God. You devalue us when you go to people outside of us about what's going on with you, about what's going on with us, especially. But that's what we're in the relationship for. That's what I thought we was in a relationship for, because we valued each other's individualism. That's what I thought we were together for. I value you as a person. You value me as a person. I value what you have to say. You do have a voice. You are important to me. That's what we want to know as men, that we are important to you. Not just between the sheets, not just in the shopping mall, not just in the jewelry store, not just riding around in the whip. That's not valuing me. That's value of those things. Appreciate it. Thank you. Say thank you. Say thank you. That goes a long way. I don't need you to match gifts. When I buy you this, you buy me that. And it has to be, no. You don't have to give me a damn thing but a thank you. Roll over in the morning. Thank you. We're sitting now having a brunch together, lunch together somewhere. Thank you. For what? For bringing me out to lunch. You're welcome. That's what we want. That's what we want. We don't want you standing outside the damn car when we're leaving from the restaurant, and you standing outside on the passenger side waiting for me to be chivalrous. No, for what? If I'm gentlemanly today, I am. If I'm not, I'm not. But is that being gentlemanly? Well, I got to act in the way you want me to act. That's a problem. Stop talking all this old social nonsense. You know about, oh, you got to act this way. That's why you don't have a damn man. That's why your ass was still standing on the sidewalk when he drove off. Because you had that mindset. Because you had that mindset. What does it have to do with me being a good man to you? What does it have to do with the value that I bring into this relationship? Because it's an expectation that you have. Well, if he can't open the door for you, you don't need to be with him. Okay. You just opened another door. The one for you to get the hell out. I mean, it's really that simple, folks. We keep factoring into our relationships with damn good people because of unrealistic expectations that we have. That's not a value. And if that's the way you feel, then you're not going to have that relationship. Man, I just want to go. Can we just go? That's who I am. I'm chivalrous in areas where I choose to be chivalrous. If there's something you desire, you know, you standing there with all of this, I'm going to laugh at you and get in the damn car. You got to start looking at these kind of things, man. How many times did you say thank you to me? How many times did you tell your man thank you? When he bought you a bracelet, thank you. I've gifted people and I've just seen them just put the piece of jewelry on, you know what I'm saying? Sit there and eat, you know, get up and walk outside, when I pay the bill and, just like, don't even attempt to reach, that kind of stuff. That's not showing me appreciation. That's not showing me appreciation. And then you have these fools who run around here talking about what a man is supposed to. Who said that? Who said that? And you the same person that profess to be a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, a Catholic. You're the same. What are you reading? What are you reading? In Islam, I had my what. It's like grooming women to believe that a man is supposed to take care of everything. That your money is your money. That you just do this, and do this. Well, if I have $50,000 earnings annually, and I live in an apartment, right? That's a decent place to live in. That's clean. That's hot. That's cold when it needs to be. And then you want a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 house. It's not my job to get that. Stop teaching these women that. Stop teaching women that. That he's supposed to. No, the hell I'm not. If you, as my wife, as my intended, know that you want a house, that's a $300,000 house, and I'm making $50,000 a year, and I'm good where I'm at. I'll be damned if you're gonna come along and tell me that my responsibility as your husband is to get you a $300,000 house. No, you get it your damn self, and you get off my step. Are you teaching women stuff like that? That don't even make sense. To say that he's responsible. Well, he needs to go get a second and third job. No, he doesn't. For what? To appease your conditioning? You better reread what it is that you're practicing. Because there's a whole passage there. Matter of fact, there's an entire damn book that if you read the book often enough, you will have a deep understanding of how to live your life. The Quran is guidance. It says that in it is guidance. What is a Muslim? A Muslim is one who submits to the will of God. Plain and simple. That's every professing person who believes in God, who wants their lives to change. You are a Muslim. But we don't want to have that conversation today because you don't want to believe that. Because you don't even know what Muslim is. Because you believe that Allah is a whole different God. Allah is God, the word God in Arabic. But that's a whole different show to have because, of all these kind of things. But that's part of respect. But we have a lot of bad information. That's bad information, man. Stop going off of what you have interpreted through somebody else's lens. That is wrong. I am not going to get you a $300,000 house on my own. I'm not going to do it. That's why you're still not married. That's why you're still not married. Because you let this fool tell you that that's his responsibility. No, it's not. No, it's not. We're not living in the days and ages of tents and huts and clay houses and stuff. We're not living in those days and ages where you could just build your own on a piece of land that was free. Land ain't free no more. And you can't just up and just build some shack on a piece of property that don't belong to you because the government done took care of all that. We don't live in those days and ages. We don't walk around on sand unless you're at a beach some damn where. We're not walking around wearing sandals unless you're living. We're not doing that. We're not in those ages, man. That has nothing to do with values. That has nothing to do with beliefs. It has nothing to do with any of those things. And understood. Yeah, and understood. Do you understand? Right? See, if you rather take that which your imam, your pastor, your minister tells you, if you want to take that over what it is that I'm telling you, well, you need to get with them. You need to marry one of them and see how that, and let me know how that's working for you. See how that plays out. Right? Because what you need to understand is this. You are a helper. You are a helper to Adam, Eve. You are Adam's helper. What does that mean? Step lightly. Be very careful. Because religious texts place women in positions that they desire not to be in. So step lightly. All religions, although have placed a value upon wife, have placed little value upon women in this world. But everybody wants to look towards Islam. as being the depravers of women's rights. Yeah, you better read. You better read and see what you're practicing and see how women are perceived by that text. Isn't it amazing how all the messengers that we've gotten throughout the years, the centuries, the decades have all been men? Well, Eve was the first woman. Why is she not in that list? Ask yourself that. If there was an Adam and there was an Eve, and God made Eve to help Adam, what kind of help did Adam need? That God saw the need for a partner for him. Why then is she not listed as a messenger of God? She taught Adam things that he needed to know. She helped him with things. You think she just sat on a lily pad while he was building a house for them? No, she probably went and got him water if she couldn't do certain things. But if she was a helper, she probably broke up some twigs so they can have a fire for tonight's dinner. Sure, he probably did most of the labor because he had already been at that place for a time. So he was already doing some things. Understanding. You don't even understand your own humanity. So how can you possibly say you understand a man and you're not a man? You've never been a man. You have an idea of who and what a man is. That's just like me telling you I know what it feels like to have menses and the cramps and all that comes along with that. That I know what it feels like to have a baby because, when this happened, it felt like you don't have no idea. You're not even learning about men. You're not sitting down learning about men. You're sitting down contemplating on what man you're going to select based on what you see before you. Oh, he got a nice car. Oh, he got his own crib too. Oh, you got a good job. You don't want a man. You don't want a husband. No, you don't. You want to feel good. That's what you want. You want to feel good. The same. Back to the article. For many men, respect looks like being heard without judgment and being supported in their ambitions and decisions. It can be as simple as making eye contact when he's speaking, or as profound as standing by his side when things get tough. According to Dr. Emerson Eggerich's author of Love and Respect, men often interpret love through the lens of respect. He notes, in the heart of a man, respect is a crucial part of being loved. When we show respect, we are telling him that he is valued, not just for what he does, but who he is. Who he is. And if you're not taking the time to get to know your man, then that's where the problem lies. Because you don't know him. And I can tell you how many relationships I've laid out. I am transparent as hell. I tell you everything. But then that works against us. Crying works against us. Disclosing pain, a painful history, works against us. But it's okay. You keep strong. You stay the course. And you stay transparent. If she the one, she the one. Respect doesn't mean agreeing with everything he says or does. But it does mean acknowledging his perspective and engaging with him in a way that promotes trust and openness. It's about showing up for him, being mindful of how you communicate, and offering support in both the good times and the bad. when you look at that area, this whole paragraph here that speaks specifically to what does respect mean to a man. That means it's time to have some conversations. It's time to have conversations with your man. It's time to ask open-ended questions. Not, baby, do you think I respect you? How about asking, in what ways can I show you, or do I show you that I respect you? Let's start breaking it down into three portions. In what ways do I show? I show that I value you? Because sometimes we don't even know how to articulate it because we've never been asked it. Because we know we want it. In what ways can I show you, boo, that I value you? Well, I don't know what that means. Like that you value me, right? So that's a good time to get out the word, the definition, the dictionary, and say, so this is what the word says here. That this value. Get the article. But there's so many different ways that you can find out together. Appreciate you. How is that shown to you? Oh man. And sometimes we downplay things simply because we don't want you to feel a certain way. We don't want you to be hurt. We don't want you to be disappointed. We don't want you to be offended. So a lot of times we downplay things. Oh, girl, I know you appreciate me. But in the back of our minds, you're like, damn, she didn't even say thank you. All right. And we just eat it, and we just eat it, and we just eat it, and we just eat it. We getting close. That we gonna go into this portion here before we're gonna cover this paragraph here on why is respect important in marriage, and we're gonna cut it off there because we need to uh, wrap it up because I'll get into a flow. So basically, the show is at 10 o'clock. I go from 10 to 11:30 because 10 to 10:30 is typically music for the first 30 minutes, and then I'll do the show portion. But that's part of the show, but the content. Um, because it has this is what 17 powerful ways to show respect. That's 17. 17 powerful ways. Just think if you just learn to use one of those ways, right? Uh, the next paragraph is why is respect important in marriage? Respect is the backbone of a strong marriage. Let that sentence marinate. Without it, love may weaken, communication may falter, and resentment may grow. Respect isn't about submission, it's about mutual admiration and support. When we respect our partner, we create a foundation of trust and safety where both people can thrive. There are a lot of men not thriving in their relationships. We're just there. We're just there. But it's the backbone of a strong marriage. It says how love may weaken. Now, I want you to listen, see, because again, because we're doing the article doesn't mean I agree or disagree with any content. It's an article of interest, and so I don't sanction its content as being it. It's valuable information. We use it to improve in those particular areas, right? Love may weaken. So if love for men is equated with sex, I mean with sex, Jeez. Whew. That's a problem too. But respect, right? That means that our level of respect for the intentions of this marriage begins to dwindle. We saw a future, we saw life with this person forever until that day came, until that day comes. That begins to change. We begin to have doubts. When you begin to have doubts, it's never good. It's never good because doubts has cousins. Infidelity, wandering eye, inappropriate conversations with others, abuse, substance abuse, physical abuse, domestic abuse, self abusing behaviors, putting ourselves in high risk situations, taking us away from the safety net. Because when you have a strong marriage, when you have that strong backbone, you rely upon one another for relief of these things that tend to entice us. They tend to entice us, right? Because it's just us now. Communication may falter. We don't have those conversations anymore because I just don't. I ain't feeling. Why am I going to come to you? Have a conversation about what? So you're going to find that all of our conversations are typically just in general in nature. And then when you make an effort to have a conversation with me, I'm short, non-responsive, not very helpful, and resentment may grow. And this is a real important area because what ultimately happens is you begin to dislike me because of how I'm now reacting to the lack of respect. I'm a Libra. I'm like a whole different animal, right? Because I'll cut you off and still care for you, still love you. But the level of trust is gone that I once had for you. The level of respect that I have when you open your mouth and you try to offer support and suggestions about things, I don't have it. It's just not. I'll still be there. I'll still be the responsible partner. And after a while, that begins to weaken and that begins to deteriorate. In my past, I wander off. You know what I mean? Sneaking around with other women instead of just walking away from the situation. But tell myself I'm holding on because I know it's going to change. I know it's going to get better. Not seeing where infidelity and doing all these other things just create so much within your spirit, the lies, the deception, the hurt and the pain and the suffering that upon you because this is not what you wanted for us. And then the hurt and pain and suffering that imposed upon other or others who you are now involved with because of what you have failed to do in this one. And now it's trickled down to everybody. Now everybody's hurt. And then when there's kids involved, the kids get hurt. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. And thank God for maturity that don't come to the forefront as an answer to. Now, I did this enough times. It's not my first rodeo. You got to go. I'm not doing it. I'm just not. You can't convince me to do it. You just can't. When you don't show me respect as a man, you got to go. Now, if you don't know, we're going to have the conversation. But I'm showing you along the way. If you're paying attention to me, this is where attentiveness comes in. If you're paying attention to me, I'm showing you. what respect looks like to me. I'm teaching you how to respect me. I'm teaching you how we interact. I'm teaching you that. I'm teaching you about me. So if you keep spending your energy on telling me about me instead of teaching me about you, then you're wasting your time. The idea is when you're in conflict, to instead of making it a tell the other person about them, tell me about you. Tell me about why it is or how it is that you've come to the point of reacting to me in this capacity without blaming me. So it's a matter of when you do this, so when you raise your voice at me, I regress back to my childhood because I was raised in a single parent home by my mother. So I always had a woman who dominated my life, who told me what to do. And there was a lot of difficulty in that relationship. Therefore, when you act this way, it reminds me of. And when people say to you, well, you're not a child anymore. No, I'm not a child anymore. I'm not, but I will always be that child. That child will always exist within me. That's called childhood trauma. That child will always be inside of me, no matter how old I am. So I'm not acting childlike in my response, but my trauma, my past trauma is presently in this situation. And that's how I'm feeling this way. So when you raise your voice at me as a woman, I cringe and I feel disrespected. So two things are happening there. My childhood trauma is now present. And the fact that you think it's okay to raise your voice at me and talk to me in the manner that you are is showing me a total lack of respect. No matter how angry you get, please don't start yelling at me. Well, you yell, you know what? And I do. And when I do that, you need to correct me on it, please, because I can do that. You want to ask me why I raise my voice? I can tell you. When people do things, you have to ask them why. You have to find out the whys when you're husband and wife. You have to find out why. I felt like in a moment you were being disrespectful. And when I feel disrespected, I raise my voice. And I work on that with us. But working on it sometimes means you got to go because you keep pushing that envelope. You keep pushing that envelope. You keep pushing that envelope with me. And I'm a pretty patient guy, right? But when you're an accommodating person like me, when you do things, without hesitation, right? It gets taken advantage of. It gets taken advantage of. I don't care how good and how great of a woman you are, it gets taken advantage of. I had to have a woman tell me that back in 2005. Sabir, you're very accommodating. Women love to be accommodated, and you're that accommodating kind of person. And yes, we do take advantage of it. It's no malicious intent behind it. I had to learn how to curb some of that being accommodating because what I was finding was that I was accommodating in situations that I really didn't want to accommodate in. I can't. I can't do this. So it's things that we have to look at. Uh, the last thing on here is without respect, misunderstandings turn into arguments and distance can grow. But when you prioritize showing respect, it reinforces the emotional bond and keeps the relationship strong and resilient, even through life's challenges. We haven't even gotten to number one, but I wanted to set the tone for you because we're going to do this next Saturday. We're going to do this next Saturday. We're going to follow back up on this next Saturday. We're going to get into this list. But you have to understand one thing: men want and deserve respect, regardless of your perception that you have been conditioned with, the trauma that resides within your mind. You have to look at that. You have to look at where you're allowing your trauma to dictate your life. It's present, always, but you can't allow it to dictate your life. You can allow your bad experiences with your selection of the wrong men dictate what you do in each relationship. You can't. As long as you continue to do that, you will continue to be in the same ratchetness over and over and over again. Watch how you talk to men. I don't care what you think about them. That's where change begins. That men start having that level of respect in their home, because it begins in the home. Then it trickles down to the community. Then it trickles down to society as a whole. Give you a little taste of the soon to be released song, The Devil's Burn. Just a taste.
This is one of those rides that goes until the wheels fall off. Certainly not for the faint of heart. For those who believe that turning the other cheek will be a deterrent for the predators who wreak havoc upon God's creations, blaming the victims for their being victimized, hoping they'll continue standing on their weak principles, cowering when they return to violate them again and again and again and again.
The Devil's Burn.
When you're living in the mouth of madness, there's always something coming your way. Whether it's chew, kiss, strip, or strewn, rip, flip, tsunami, or monsoon, it's inevitable in the course of a day. After a while, it all tastes the same. Staying in your lane is the name of this game. Never look back, it'll drive you insane. A nightmare for sure, chaos a theory. I just want to scream, but no one can hear me. Ooh, feel the devil's burn. Ooh, feel the devil's burn. In this life, you don't get what you earn. Treat it like a doorknob, everybody gets a turn. Ooh, feel the devil's burn.
Just a sneak peek, just a sneak peek, just a sneak peek.
Ooh, feel the devil's burn.
I'll see y'all next Saturday. Make sure you tune in for another live episode of Daddy's Right Here Live. Listen, you can find all my music on your favorite music streaming platform. And make sure you check out our website, aleemforyou.net. Custom tumblers, apparels, umbrellas, boots, sneakers, shirts. You name it, we got it, man. The best prices in town, out of town, nationally, internationally. Everybody is looking to get rich off of you people. Right? That's all they're doing. They want your money. They're just trying to take all your money, man. We just want to make sure we put out a nice merchandise, right? We probably get anywhere between 3 to 5% profit margins on on all of our merchandise. While people out there getting 50 and 60. That's not our goal. Make sure you check us out at leadingforyou.net. Also, make sure you go to your favorite music streaming platform. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Radio, who else we got here? Deezer, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, everybody. Shout out to DistroKid, who has been consistent. Never shirk their responsibilities. As soon as I drop something on their lap, they got it on people's tables, man. So shout out to DistroKid for what it is that they continue to do in supporting Spirit Lead and his music. Make sure you check that out. Y'all have a great and wonderful rest of the weekend. Listen, stay tuned. The Devil's Burn. All music that you hear on this show are originals. Written by me, produced by me, performed by me. Yeah. I just jumped into this thing in 2021, man. I've been around music for a long time. Public relations, promotions, soundboard mixing, stage lighting, those kind of things. Been around artists. And just one day, my brother said that poem sounds like a song. And I made it a song, and here I be. I got about 6 releases in 2024. I've been on the roll. In this life, in this life, in this life. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out my previous shows, just go to the Sabir Aleem Educational Station on YouTube. Let me chop it for the Sabir Aleem Educational Station on YouTube, and you can see there's probably about 400 videos that you can check out and learn some things. Excuse me. Learn some things about you. Yeah. Severely Educational Station on YouTube. Listen, we both learning and growing together. Ain't no big I and little you. We all in this together, man. We all want a better way of life. Value you first. Save you first. Then you go back to save the family. Then you go back and save others. Make a difference. Let our kings wear their crowns. Some might wear them straight up. Some may put them on a tilt. Still a crown. Still a king. We need women to help us be better kings. That's what we need. Your helper. Let's ride this thing out. Ride it till the wheels fall off. Y'all have a great day. Peace. This flow, man, is